Hello there, and welcome. It's Psychic Cynthia here, Spiritual Psychic Cynthia Killian, and welcome to another Tea Time in the Garden video. As you can see, today I'm drinking iced tea, a rarity for me. And in today's video, I want to talk about the upcoming full moon, because actually this is your Friday cosmic update for the week ahead. And that week ahead starting on, well, it depends on what day of the week you want to start it on, but if we start on Monday, that would be August 3rd. But we're going to talk a little bit before that too. So, but let's jump right into the full moon, because I know you all want to know very much about the full moons and the new moons and how this wonderful La Luna, how she shines her light on us, and how our emotions ebb and flow with the moon. So we are having a full moon on this next upcoming Monday. That's August 3rd. And that will be a full moon in Aquarius, so at 11 degrees Aquarius. And when the moon is full, there is what we call in astrology an opposition between the sun and the moon. So they are, it's not just opposing each other like what we think of where there be a conflict, but I also like to think that they're complementing each other because they are facing each other. So the sun will be over here in Leo and the moon will be in Aquarius. So we have both of these energies being activated at the same time, actually. But the moon itself, the full moon itself, is happening on this next Monday in the sign of Aquarius. Which, what is this sign about? This is the sign of connection in a humanitarian way, our friendships. Those are friendships that are based on shared ideals and beliefs and causes or just higher understandings. And Aquarius has a lot to do with our causes, whatever those may be, and our ideals and those types of things. It can be a very humanitarian sign. It can be very open-minded. Now you'll notice I'm using the words can be here because Aquarius is a very interesting sign. It also can be not so open-minded. It can be very closed-minded. And I've always found that interesting, the paradox of Aquarius, how they can be so accepting and loving, and then at the same time, if they make up their mind about something, they can be very closed to the other positions. And sometimes even violently so, because Aquarius is the sign of revolution, and we often think of peace, love, and hippies, with Aquarius, but it is the sign of revolution. And revolution is usually violent and bloody. So not that I want any of those things for us, but I'm just telling you what the energies are all about here. So when we have this full moon, that usually happens once a year in the sign of Aquarius, then you are being stimulated to look at your friendships, your group connections, your ideals. And there could be tension around that, because what a full moon does in any sign is it shines a spotlight on that area of life, and it does bring up conflicts. It brings up those conflicts not just so we can fight, but so that they can be resolved and healed. So do keep that in mind over the course of the next few days, because this video will come out on Friday, if not before then. And, this full moon is not exact until Monday. Let me see my notes. What time would that be? So 10:59 a.m. Central Daylight Time. That's the time zone I'm filming in. If you're in Eastern, that would be 11:59 a.m. Eastern Daylight. If you're in Pacific, well, it'd be 2 hours difference from mine if you have daylight time. So I guess 8:59, pretty early in Pacific, on Monday morning, we'll be having this full moon exact. For those of you who really like to honor and celebrate the cycles of the full moon, and you want to have your drumming rituals, maybe you want to have a release ceremony, or perhaps you want to charge your crystals or your tarot cards or your runes or a necklace. You want to charge these in the light of the full moon. You might want to do it on Sunday night rather than Monday night, although both could work. It's just this full moon is actually exact in the daylight hours. So if you charge Sunday night, you'll get the building energies of the moon. If you charge Monday night, They'll still be strong energies, but it'll have turned more towards the cleansing phase. So keep that in mind. I would do it either. I mean, in fact, if you miss Sunday or Monday, you could still do Tuesday night. I mean, it's not technically full anymore. It's not even going to be in the same sign probably, but you'll still have strong lunar energies. So anyway, we're starting off next week, Monday, with the full moon in Aquarius. Now listen, on that same day, this only happens once a year, usually. It's not very much fun. There is Mercury opposing Saturn, and this is going to be Mercury in Cancer opposing Saturn in Capricorn, late degree. I think we're at 27 degrees with this. So there could be a kind of karmic resolution dealing with home and family. You may see a family member move away, or you may have a conflict where you just can't, connect much. Because remember, this is happening on the same day as the full moon. So if you look at the full moon and then the degrees of this major planetary shift with Mercury and Saturn on that day, this is really speaking of the need to clear out communications and be very clear in your communications, because you might not tend to be. Okay, with these energies, you might tend to misspeak and, or misunderstand. So if you do feel hurt or, defensive, I could see with the Mercury opposing Saturn where we could get defensive and, think others don't care about us or value us, or they could think the same about you. Just remember there's some tense energies happening, this next week coming up, and especially on Monday. So just be aware of that. And the best part of all of this is you can use this as a time to review your group connections, your networking, your spiritual ideals, your humanitarian. Think about what you stand for as a person. What is really important to you? Even if you're watching this, say, on Facebook, I'm going to put it out on YouTube first. And by the way, if you want to follow all my videos, please subscribe to my Psychic Cynthia YouTube channel, because all of the videos will go there, only some on Facebook. But for this one, if you're watching this video on Facebook, think about your own personal Facebook feed, and what, in terms of what you stand for, what do you put on that? Where do you give? This is just a good way to work these energies. What are you putting on that? Because with that, you're making a statement about who you are and what your beliefs are. I mean, is that the statement you want to make? I don't know, and I'm not critiquing it, and you have to decide that for yourself. But that's just an example. And then also in your day-to-day real life. Because Facebook isn't really our real life. I know sometimes those of us who are active, I'm very active on it, but I forget that sometimes. And yeah, this is real life. Actually, real life is like where I'm sitting right now, nature, okay? It goes on no matter what. But that's another story for another time. So tune into your ideals and your beliefs, what you're putting forth, and what you're giving your energy to and time. That's what I'm saying. Are you really focusing on your highest ideals, your highest beliefs? I mean, we all have a lot of opinions, but I would counsel you with this full moon coming up in Aquarius and opposing, the sun, in Leo at that same time, and then the Mercury-Saturn opposition on Monday. I would really counsel you to tune deeply into your soul, your self, your spiritual nature, self with a capital S, and evaluate what's important to you, what's really important to you in your soul's path, not your ego's path, because, okay, you can tell it's about the ego if you get into arguments about it and debating, and it's about being right and trying to make another person wrong. And that's true even if your position might be correct or even high or holy. It's not holy if you make another person wrong. You've lost all sacredness then. You understand? Because a true path of holiness comes from the heart. I mean, that's how you'll know somebody is a true spiritual master, or at least partly awakened. They won't go around trying to make others feel bad. So things to think about, because yes, the full moon in Aquarius will activate the dark side of Leo too, which is the tendency to try to be a tyrant towards others and, control or dominate. So you don't want that. And there's many bright energies with this. The bright sides of Aquarius and Leo is to be an inspired leader, to be creative, to be artistic, to be fun, to show others that there can be joy Even if you have beliefs or a cause, you can pursue that creatively, artistically, joyfully. I mean, I mentioned the hippies earlier, and they kind of showed us this a long time ago because they did a lot of their quote-unquote protests through music and art, and some of that music of that time was really beautiful. So think about that. I'm not saying everything has to be about protest, and do watch out for that tendency with the Aquarius being activated. There could be a tendency to rebel only for the sake of rebelling. So if you're going to rebel, make sure you know what you're rebelling against, and more importantly, hear me, from the spiritual perspective, more importantly, is not to rebel against, it is to move towards something. So don't be against something, I mean, yes, be against it. Obviously, I think most spiritual people are against oppression. We are against racism. But let us be for equality. Let us be for freedom. Let us be for fairness, for example. And even more, I think, important. Those are important, yes, but let us be for beauty. Let us be for peace. Let us be for harmony. Let us be for oneness, wholeness. Let us be for the rainbow tribe, all of us coming together and seeing that there is only one human race. So, on those wonderful Aquarian thoughts, and yes, I have some Aquarius in my chart, you can tell, I'd like to end this video and sending you all the love in the world for this full moon week ahead. And also, for those of you who are more earth-based, for this Saturday, I would like to say happy Lammas, happy Harvest Day. Until next time, cosmic light to you all and bright blessings.